Often bulbs will only flower for a couple of weeks each year, so it makes sense to choose different varieties which will flower at different times of the year. Now, even these spring flowering bulbs, it's possible to create a display that will last from midwinter to midsummer. And I'm just going to talk you through a few options that will give you around 6 months of colour. So to kick off the season, the first thing you can plant is snowdrops. Now, these are absolutely exquisite, but they are quite small. But people will travel miles to see huge swathes planted in open grassland or edge of woodland. They look absolutely spectacular. But in smaller gardens, they look just as gorgeous if you pot some up and pot them in the windowsill. So when your snowdrops have started to fade, the next group are the crocus, and these start appearing late winter, early spring. And again, they're small enough for the windowsill, but they look great planted in big bold numbers in the lawn or in the border if you've got the space. The next group to flower are the daffodils. And by the time these start appearing, usually in March or April, you really get a sense that spring is well and truly underway. The most recognisable are the big yellow trumpets, but they do come in lots of other shapes and sizes, from quite small to the very tall ones, some of which are scented, and many of which are excellent for cutting. Next are the tulips. Now, these tend to appear in late spring, and they're one of the most popular flowering bulbs, spring flowering bulbs. And that's because their flowers come in a huge array of colours and shapes, many of which again are good for cutting. So then finally, in early summer, the alliums come along. Now, these are really structural plants, so not only do they add colour, but they add structure to the garden. And even after their flowers have faded, there still remains a really attractive seed head, which you can keep in the border all through the summer. And I tend to leave mine where they are until they've absolutely dried out, and then I collect them and I store them, and then come Christmas time I spray the seed heads gold or silver, and I use them as part of my Christmas decorations. So there we are, that's 6 months of colour using bulbs.